How's it going, everybody? Ragaroth here. So, if you're clicking this video, you probably know what it's about. You obviously know that creator of Dragon Ball, among other things, Akira Toriyama, has passed away recently. And I noticed a lot of people doing kind of tribute videos and all of that, and I figured I would kind of throw in my 2 cents as well. So, what does Akira Toriyama mean to me? I mean, it's hard to kind of just... It's a hard thing to answer. So I guess I'll just kind of start from the beginning. I guess I'll start with kind of my knowledge and I guess the things I was interested in that he did make. So, obviously Dragon Ball. Tried out Chrono Trigger. I liked it. I didn't play too much of it. I would like to get back to it one day. It'd be great if they remade it. Dragon Quest I jumped into late, I guess partially because of Smash Bros. But I did play a little bit of it. I did like Dragon Quest 11. Never really got a Dr. Slump, just not really my cup of tea, And I actually do want to try out Sandland, I believe it's called. But I guess from, when I first got into Dragon Ball, I think I was 8 years old, going on 9 years old. And I remember I was watching Toonami. I was mainly watching Toonami for that CGI show called Reboot. I don't know if you guys remember Reboot. I was really into that when I was little. And I know Toonami, they were actually showing new episodes. Because I think they were showing on like Kids WB or something like that. And they stopped showing it or whatever. But they put it on Toonami and they were showing new episodes. And that was the main reason I was watching Toonami. And I remember one day I had Toonami on, but I think I fell asleep. So I missed the episode of Reboot, unfortunately. But when I woke up, Dragon Ball Z was on. I believe it was when they were on Namek, and the Ginyu Force confronted Gohan and Krillin. I think Dende, when they had at least one Dragon Ball. And I'm like, what the hell is this show? And I guess I was like kind of groggy, and I watched it. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I guess it's like then I caught it more times, after, Reboot and all that. And I'm like, this show's, I don't know, I like this show. I kind of want to watch more of it. And then that's how I remember when they were like, they were going to debut the new episodes when like Funimation took over, when like they were going to fight like Ginyu and all that. And that's when I got into it even more. And the rest is history. Like, there's, I think, 4 franchises that have made up a good chunk of my life, and they've been Star Wars, Sonic, Pokemon, and Dragon Ball. I would say probably I'm still very interested in Pokemon and Sonic. I mean, Dragon Ball and Sonic. Pokemon and Star Wars I'm a little less interested in, but I still like them. Like Dragon Ball just kind of introduced me. It was the gateway for like so many things, not just anime. I think just things in general. It was just like, when I saw Dragon Ball, it was Dragon Ball Z. I think it was just it was over the top and just very like, I guess, unhinged, for lack of a better term, than what I was exposed to at the time. And it was just really exciting. And I think it was also the first time there was ever kind of like the kind of an episodic TV show where it's like, each episode would kind of, it was a continuous story. That's probably what I'm looking for. Because every other show, I think at the time, things seemed a bit more one-off. Even if there were episodes that like did kind of continue, Dragon Ball, I feel like it was more solid with that. And I think the amazing thing about Dragon Ball 2 is that like it kind of has a bit of everything. It's like sci-fi, it's comedy, it's action, it's kind of fantasy. Yeah, because there's like aliens, then there's robots, there's androids, there's demons, there's gods. But obviously, yeah, it was a gateway for a ton of other anime like Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho, Bleach. I think to a lesser extent, there's definitely some DBZ inspiration there. And I mean, I think I bonded with a lot more people. I don't know. Well, no, it has definitely made me some friends. I think probably a very, very popular example. I think that's Dragon Ball is basically how me and Mark Yoon, my friend, my other friend that has a YouTube channel, became friends. I'm pretty sure when I came into GameStop, the GameStop my local one that I went into, and he was working, I think somehow the Dragon Ball Z Budokai HD collection, because that was around that time, came up because I think I was going to get that. I don't think I didn't get it right away, but I was going to get that, and that came up in conversation. You know, it's like, oh, you like Dragon Ball 2? And then we exchanged I think PlayStation Network IDs or something like that, and yeah. So that started that friendship. I bonded with a lot of my other friends. So many good memories. Like, I mean, I still remember, like, I think, you know, watching the episode when Goku first went Super Saiyan. I actually distinctly very remember the episode, you know, where I was at and I think what was going on, the episode when Goku went Super Saiyan 3 for the first time. Partially because I love Super Saiyan 3. I think I am in the minority that loves that form. It's like my favorite form. And I remember that. Distinctly remember the day that episode was on. I think I was eating dinner and like watching TV. I think my sister was maybe sitting next to me as well. I think my dad also was coming home from work. And I don't know, it was just a little more vivid. And I think I remember when they finally beat Boo, which also makes me mad too because I would have liked that episode a lot more if they didn't cut out the part where you see Android 17 hold the gun up to those guys and make them give energy to Spirit Bomb. And I remember when, I've got Budokai 3 and I brought that home, played that with my friends, going to the movies to see the newer movies like Battle of the Gods, Revival F, Broly, Superhero. I mean, it's created so many memories for me. And it's like, a lot of people always say that, oh, it was my gateway into anime, and kind of insinuating that they're not really into it anymore, but I'm still into it. It's still one of my favorite shows and, things to follow. And, I play most of the games, not all of them, but I'd say probably 90% of them at least. And that's the thing with Akira Toriyama. I feel like he did a little bit of everything that kind of, appealed to everybody. And I think Dragon Ball is a series that, appeals to everybody of all ages. You have kids that like it, teenagers that like it, adults that like it. It's just for everybody. I do miss when it was a little more violent, just saying. But, whatever. It's still, I think, good for all ages. It's not, too kiddish or anything, at least in my opinion. And, I know I'm one of those people that I like a lot of the elements of Dragon Ball that, Akira Toriyama didn't really create. The movies, I'm a big fan of, and I like some of that stuff more than the actual stuff he did create. I like Cooler more than Frieza. I like Janemba more than Majin Buu. I like Super Saiyan 4 more than at least the original Super Saiyan God. I like Gogeta more than Vegeta. Well, I liked Gogeta when he wasn't canon more than Vegeta, at least. But the thing is, that's not an insult to him. That's just... And the thing is, none of that stuff would even exist if it wasn't for him. And I feel like some of that kind of attitude for me comes from just kind of the attitude that I've dealt with other people in the fan base that have a bit more of an elitist opinion about, things that aren't canon, are not good, yada yada. But that's neither here nor there. And it's I know I was a little more critical maybe when Dragon Ball first came back with Battle of the Gods. I didn't love that direction at first, but then I think Revival F and stuff after that, I was more on board with that. And I think I've grown to elements of Battle of the Gods anyway. Yeah, Akira Toriyama is just responsible, I feel for so many things, for indirectly creating and inspiring so many things. I feel the gold standard, no pun intended, for kind of high octane, kind of super powered kind of fights is Dragon Ball. I feel some other things have kind of caught up a bit, but it's still Dragon Ball for me. And I think that's kind of, something that sort of really stood out to me about it. And, I will admit, I never really got into the original Dragon Ball as much. Goku was a kid and all that, and that's kind of the reason why I'm not that excited for Dragon Ball Daima. Still going to give it a chance, though, especially now. But I still appreciate it, and I understand it does help things kind of come together a lot more. And I think it does, again, show just how kind of talented and versatile Akira Toriyama was, that he could do comedy, but he could also do action. Not many people can do that. I think, maybe more people can do that these days, but he was one of the first. And I think it says something. And I gotta probably acknowledge the shirt I'm wearing. It's very rare that you see... I mean, it happens, but it's very rare that you see someone take something that's kind of associated with their work that isn't canon and make it even better. I liked Broly from Z, but he basically made Broly, the Dragon Ball Super version, one of my favorite characters in the whole series. Enough said there. And it's a shame because I would have liked to see him do that even more with Coolidge and Emba, Baby, etc. But, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, Akira Toriyama was 68, and I've seen a lot of people say that, you know, oh, he was too young, and he could have lived so much longer, and, well, I half agree and I have to disagree with that. If you live till 68, that's not a bad run. That's still a solid amount of years. I understand, you know, modern technology and health and all that it's become much more common to live beyond 68, to go even further beyond 68. But I still think that's a good amount of years, and I wouldn't say 68 is young per se. And I mean, especially for what he's accomplished as well. I will say though, I guess 68 years old, it still does kind of fall in that kind of territory of, you know, just feeling like, you know, he could have still lived longer, like another, you know, maybe 10 to 20 years. But kind of tragically ironic thing with his passing is that he's known for a series where death is basically a mere inconvenience, and there's unfortunately nothing we can do to make it that. Now, in terms of, I guess, the future of Dragon Ball, not that that's the most important thing, but I feel like I should mention it. You know, I think some people are worried, and I'm personally not too worried. I kind of think it'll be fine. I think that does I will say that is what kind of makes it a little more tragic, is that he wasn't even done. It's not like he was retired from Dragon Ball and creating other things. He was still working on things. You know, if he was retired, you know, obviously it would still be sad, but I personally think it'll be fine. Now, granted, I know it's like I said, this is a person that's usually very easy to please, and as a person that kind of likes a lot of the stuff from Dragon Ball that Akira Toriyama didn't work on, but I still think, with that aside, it'll probably still be fine. And I'm sure he's had like drafts and all that of maybe what his plans were going forward with, you know, the manga and all that, and I think Daima's already probably like finished. They're probably just, you know, doing the final, you know, they're probably just putting it together and all that, doing the final touches.
And it's probably also worth saying that I started my YouTube channel with Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball Fighters was one of the first video games I really started talking about and covering on my channel. So I even owe Akira Toriyama to that as well.
You know, this celebrity death definitely hit harder than some of the other ones for me. Dragon Ball has kind of touched so many people, you know, and his other series as well. It's like, but yeah, I mean, this video was just kind of a little quick video I wanted to put together, you know, not even using my microphone. And in the comments below, feel free to let me know, or let us know, what Akira Toriyama meant to you, some of your, you know, good memories with, you know, Dragon Ball or anything else that, you know, you want to share. This is definitely the place to share it, you know. But hey, you know, if you got this far in the video, thanks for hearing me out. And as I always say, another time, another place, keep being awesome, especially you, Akira Toriyama, wherever you are. Thank you for everything.